In this video, I'm going to be teaching you one exercise that will instantly improve your piano playing. And actually, this is more of an exercise. This is kind of like what I think of as a meta exercise, a kind of way of actually playing all exercises. So this is an extremely high ROI thing to learn, and it's something that you can apply to pretty much everything that you're playing and practicing on the piano, and it's really going to level up your playing over time. Okay, so let me show you what it is. First, I'm going to be teaching you the first Hanon exercise. What is Hanon? Hanon is a book of finger exercises. Okay, it's this book here. It's called Hanon, the Virtuoso Pianist, in 60 exercises for the piano. Okay, they don't just name a book the Virtuoso Pianist for no reason. Okay, there's a reason why they named it that the Virtuoso Pianist is because if you actually practice these exercises, you're going to really train your fingers. You're going to develop finger dexterity, and you can't possibly hope to reach higher levels on the piano and on the keyboard if you don't train and unlock your fingers. We play everything with our fingers and with our hands, right? I mean, the hands are like how we access notes, but ultimately it's the fingers that actually play the notes. So it's in your best interest, if you want to actually start sounding good on the piano and start playing with more freedom and expression, it's in your best interest to train your fingers, to practice finger exercises so that you can really develop your finger strength, your speed, your expression, your depth of playing, your touch. There is a lot that goes into this. This is a very deep craft, and it's something that we serious piano players, professional pianists, musicians, we practice this stuff, and it's a never-ending practice, really. It's not something that you practice a little bit over here and you're good to go. No, it's something that you continuously train. Okay, so I'm going to teach you the first Hanon exercise. By the way, if you're really serious about this, definitely pick this book up and start practicing it. Learn these exercises and practice them, okay? So the first Hanon exercise, it starts down here, okay? And it starts on C, right? And we're doing it with both hands, right? So first, let me show you what's called the 5-note scale. The 5-note scale is where you start on C and you simply just go up the notes with all of your fingers, and then you reach the end and you go back down, right? This is called the 5-note scale. It's a really standard beginner scale to start to develop and train your fingers, right? And it's really easy because with our hands in place, with our fingers in place, it's only a matter of actually just pressing your fingers down on the keys, right? So what this first Hanon exercise is kind of like the 5-note scale, but we skip the second note. So we play the first note, skip the second note, but still use your next available finger, right? And then climb all the way up. And then what happens when you climb down is you land on the next note up, and you do the same thing. And this is how you ascend the keyboard, right? So you go all the way up like this. I'm going at a nice steady tempo. I do recommend using a metronome for this. And then you land at C again. The full exercise goes up another octave, but for the sake of this, let's just do it from here. And then we make our way back down by starting on G as our first note, and we'll do the same thing where we skip the next note but use the next available finger like this, and then we make our way back down, right, until we reach the bottom. Okay, so at a fast tempo, again, I recommend that you use a metronome for this. I didn't load mine up. I should have, my bad. Oh well, let me play this at a fast tempo. Just to demonstrate what it looks and sounds like, right? Okay, so that is the exercise. Now, if you practice that exercise, if you do that daily, you're really going to develop finger dexterity. And it's only a matter of time. If you install it into your practice, and if you actually practice and train it, it's only a matter of time until your fingers are really start to gonna develop that dexterity such that you can actually express yourself on the keyboard. And that's what you want, right? So that is not actually the exercise that I am even discussing in this video. That's just that's just a finger exercise that I encourage you to practice, okay? And another one is the C major scale. Let me just show you these two basic beginner exercises. The first Hanon exercise and the C major scale, okay? The C major scale goes like this. Okay, so hopefully you know the C major scale. If you don't, that's all good. Let me show you now. Starts like this, right? In the left hand, you've got pinky, fourth finger, middle finger. It goes all the way up, okay? So it's kind of like the 5-note scale up to G, and then it skips to the third finger, and then goes to the thumb. And then on the way back down, goes to the third, then the thumb moves through, and then lands on G. Then we've opened up the rest of the fingers to make our way back down. And for the right hand, it starts with the thumb, goes up to the third, then the thumb weaves through to the F, and then we play all of the fingers, come all the way down with the fingers, then move like that. So why am I teaching you this? Well, because scales are another really great way to train the fingers. Like, a lot of people are, they don't want to practice scales, but actually scales is, I'm not even joking you when I say this, it's one of the best things that you can practice on the piano. And it's something that you realize over time. Like, you know, when I started learning the piano, I didn't want to practice scales or finger exercises. My teacher was like, you got to practice these. He bought me this book because he's like, Josh, practice this. Guess what? I didn't practice. I didn't do any of this. I thought it was boring and stupid. Now, that's because I didn't actually understand what it would do for my playing. William, he was a great teacher, but he didn't quite connect the dots in that sense, right? So hopefully I've connected the dots for you in the sense that if you actually practice finger exercises and scales, it will result in you being able to really express yourself and be able to play freely on the piano, which is ultimately what we want. Okay, so the C major scale. Okay, so already we've established two finger exercises that we can practice. The first Hanon exercise and the C major scale rather. Now, let me show you the meta exercise that this video is actually about. So what it is that we're going to play these exercises, we're going to practice them in two main ways. First, we're going to practice them using what's called the staccato technique. And then we're going to practice them using what's called the legato technique. Okay? What is staccato and what is legato? They are ways of articulating the notes that we play on the piano, okay? So staccato refers to really light and very quick jumpy notes. So let me show you the C major scale with staccato. Notice the character of the notes is different, right? It's the duh, 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 right? And then legato is the opposite of staccato, where we want to play really smoothly and we want to blend all of our notes together in a really smooth passage, okay? So let me demonstrate the C major scale with legato. So the notes kind of, you know, they blend into each other really smoothly, okay? So the staccato technique and the legato technique are essential for really developing our musicality and our storytelling and expression skills on the piano, because this is what actually brings music to life, right? Let me just give you an example here. I don't know, let me just improvise something. So let me play... Okay, so that's just something I improvised, right? Notice it's got a character to it. It sounds almost quite funny, right? It just sounds lighthearted and funny. Okay, now let me apply the legato technique and notice how the character and the quality of the music changes. Now, let me blend the two together to tell a bit of a story with this little piece that I've just composed right now. I kind of like that piece. It's quite cute. Sounds kind of like Zelda or something. So that is musical storytelling. Now, this is why this kind of meta exercise that I'm teaching you in this video is going to absolutely transform your playing. It's going to level it up, because by practicing staccato and by practicing legato, you're going to be developing your articulation and the way that you actually express the notes that you play on the piano, such that you can really tell a story, you can bring out character in your music, and you can really put emotion into your playing and make people actually feel something from your playing. Okay, so it's like the ultimate practice. Okay, now let me show you it in a practical sense. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play the C major scale starting with legato. Okay, and then the next time around I'll play it with legato. Then staccato. And then legato. So that is basically what you do. Now you can actually apply this, as I was saying at the start, why I called it a meta exercise, is because you can actually apply this to every exercise that you learn and practice on the piano. And if you do that, you're going to really be developing multi-dimensional skills. Rather than just training one exercise in a one-dimensional way, you'll be practicing that exercise in a three-dimensional way. You'll be training the fingers, right? You'll be training the hands and fingers based on what that exercise is. Then you'll be training your articulation and your expression skills. It's honestly such a powerful thing. Now, how do you actually play these techniques? Well, it's kind of like a way that you approach playing the notes. I don't know if you noticed, if you noticed my body while I was playing, while I was practicing those different qualities, you would hopefully see, right? So staccato is a little bit more, you want to actually embody the character of the note when you're actually playing it. So it's like quick and jumpy, right? So you want your fingers to be quick and jumpy, right? And notice my body is a little bit like that as well, right? Whereas with the legato, it's more expressive, it's more flowy. They flow together. And so if you look at my hands and fingers and my arms, they're more flowing, right? Now, why is that the case? Because music actually comes from our body. And if we embody the music and the sound that we want to create on the instrument and use our body in the playing of that and the creation of that sound, then that's going to shine through in the sound that you generate on the piano. Okay? So let me show you now the first Hanon exercise, first with staccato and then with legato. Okay, now let me actually go down in legato just to speed up this process. Yeah, so that's the first Hanon exercise with this approach. Now, the next thing that you can do is that you can actually combine them. So first you do staccato and then legato, like this. Staccato, legato. Staccato, legato. Now, what is that training? That's training it in actually being able to apply it in a more practical way. Because like I showed you with this, right, that's staccato, and then we blend it smoothly with legato. Change to staccato. So being able to kind of toggle between staccato and legato playing, it really opens up your playing in so many ways. It's going to level up your piano playing, and people are going to listen to your playing and be like, whoa, that sounds and feels so good. Okay, and it won't even take that long. If you start implementing this exercise into your practice routine, it might be only a couple of weeks, a couple of months. By the end of a year, your playing is going to be completely transformed. So I really hope that this video lesson was helpful. If you resonate with this style of teaching and you want to speed up your progress, definitely check the link out below. Otherwise, consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel for more practical lessons and tips and advice and video piano tutorials and things like that. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.